Okay, it's time, so let's start. Let's begin our pitch competition. So welcome everyone. This is a 2025 Land Family College of Business pitch contest. And I am the host of the event. I'm Nara Jung, Management Department faculty, and also the faculty director of the pitch competition at the university. And these are today's agenda. So we are going to have opening remarks by our dean, and I'm going to introduce the Land Family College of Business contest quickly, and introduce our judge panel here, and then order of presentation for today, and then we're going to have pitch and Q&As. Okay. And then I'm going to briefly promote the innovation and entrepreneurship pitch competition, and the judges during the time will discuss the winners in the separate room. And then after 15 minutes of the discussion, we're going to have a award presentation. So we're going to finish everything during 2 hours. So our Dean Eugene will make an opening remarks.
So honestly, thank you. I just want to do a few thank yous first to Nara Jung for taking on this effort. It's been now 3 years with this. This pitch competition was originally an all-university one, which still continues, but then we mushroomed it into like a college-specific one first, and then the university one, there's a CS one. And so I want to thank the judges for being here and giving us your wisdom. And most importantly, I want to thank all the student participants for putting yourself out there and spending the time to hopefully this leads to somewhere really good. So thank you all. This Innovation Hub, we have a lot of grand plans with it, and the plans are already in motion and action. But hopefully one day we'll have a much larger crowd, right, than we have today. But thank you, everyone.
So today's event is a hybrid, so many people just want to participate in the Zoom. So until last year, it was a Zoom event. So all the judges and the participants actually participated in the Zoom. But today we have an in-person and the Zoom both. This Land Family College of Business pitch competition is open to every Land Family College of Business students, and we are open to every concept and industry. And the first place winner will get $500, and the second place $300, and third place $200. But actually, we don't have a fan referee today because today's event is a hybrid, so there's some technical difficulty. And you can get feedback from our judges, and the first place winner will have a chance to present at the university level pitch competition. So that's a huge benefit because university level pitch competition is a much bigger prize. So try to win. And today's judge panel. So we have Aaron Gillian, is it right? Aaron Gillian. And then he's an entrepreneur, and also he's an expertise in executive recruiting and also the marketing and many other areas. Welcome. We have Iquan. Iquan is an international business professor at Land Family College of Business. Welcome. And we have Stanley. Stanley is the CEO of the NetSwitch. It's a cybersecurity company. Welcome. And we have Sophie. Sophie is a founder and also a category creator. Welcome. Okay. This is the order of presentation. So we have AI real estate agent first, and then Fred. Is it right? Fred. And the third, luggage rent, and the fourth, peak tour, the fifth, super class. This order, so alphabetical order. And each team will have 7 minutes of presentation time. And after 7 minutes of presentation time, you will have 8 minutes of Q&A sessions with the judges. So the judges will ask questions and then you have to answer those questions and then, yeah, they can give you some feedback too, like not just questions. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? So, team AI real estate agent first. Yes, yes.
All right. Hi, my name is Janelle Anderson, and I'm a graduate student in quantitative economics. And I am really excited to be at this pitch competition today and to present to you my idea, the real estate agent. Oh, okay. The AI real estate agent. And I believe that this is going to revolutionize the way property transactions are done. So I've been seeing for a really long time that the real estate industry is ready for major disruption. That in fact, there's a tsunami coming for the real estate industry. The way that real estate is currently done is outdated and it has lots of excessive fees in the form of commissions that inflate prices, which is a complete disservice to the buyers and has resulted in overall inflation, not just in housing prices, but in the economy as well. What AI agent aims to do is it's going to leverage generative AI and deep learning in hopes to reduce transaction costs and improve efficiency by replacing a traditional full service real estate agent. I'm having a hard time with making my slide down. Okay. So let's imagine that you are shopping for a house here in San Francisco and you see a house that is $1 million. Now, in some parts of the state, that would be unreasonable, but here that makes perfect sense. So out of this $1 million, you are expecting that this is the value of the home, right? Well, actually, there's a 6% brokerage fee baked in to that purchase price. This is hidden to most buyers, but the sellers are most definitely aware of it. So brokers actually have an incentive to list properties higher if to increase their commissions. Traditional buyer statements are confusing and complicated. This would be a buyer's statement for a buyer who spent $502,000 on a home, but it does not reflect at all what the agent's commissions were. In fact, you'd have to go to the seller's commission disbursement to see just how much there was taken out for the buyer's side in commissions, which was around $14,000. And then the seller side agent also receives $14,000. That is paid by the seller, but it's baked into the price of the property. So what this does is this creates an environment for inflation, and it's actually like a cycle of inflation where real estate agents overprice properties to maximize their commissions and the profits to the sellers. And then the appraiser comes in and basically validates these prices, and the market accepts these prices as the new norm. And then the next seller will look at this property as a comparable property and justify their higher price. And then the buyer of this house will overpay, and this continues this cycle of inflation. Well, if this was happening, we'd be able to see it in the market, right? We'd be able to see this. And the fact is we do see it. So here I don't have a lot of time to go over the slide, but here I have real GDP. And then I adjusted it for inflation using the CPI to normalize it. And so this is what like a normal basket of goods would be, and housing should be 25%. But what we actually find is the expenditure that people are actually spending on housing is closer to 40%. So in fact, I think that this does prove that that 6% commission rate over time has really led to an inflation in not just housing prices, but also in the overall consumer basket of goods and the CPI inflation. Why does this happen? Well, because we have the National Association of Realtors. Okay, we all have heard of a cartel, but we think of drugs when we hear of a cartel, right? But actually, I believe that the NAR, the National Realtor Association, is a cartel in itself because they fix prices and they collude with market participants and they set prices. And this has led to artificially inflating home prices, as well as they have a monopoly on access to their data. So this is where my business comes in. This is where my idea comes in. I want to create an AI real estate agent that steps in as a full service agent and reduces these unnecessary commissions, automates and streamlines property purchases, and ensures regulatory compliance because this AI is trained on the regulation that the same regulations that the real estate agents are trained on. So that way it's not running into any legal troubles there. So the AI agent can do all of these things that a regular agent can't do, including reduce transaction costs by eliminating commissions and offering 24-hour reports, 7 days a week. These would be the core technologies that would be implemented to start our prototype and bring our prototype into market feasibility. What's the market opportunity here? Okay, so just last year alone, there's $2.1 trillion in real estate sold. That's about 4 million existing properties. Okay, now we're gonna get into the economics part, guys. Okay, so we have our supply and demand curve. Is it coming back? We're all going back to economics 101. Okay, we have our supply and our demand curve. And my theory, and this goes in line with economic theory, is that if we reduce transaction costs, demand will increase by relatively the same amount. So if we reduce transaction costs by 5%, we can anticipate that demand is going to increase by 5%. So we have a new level of transactions and a new level of market value in dollars. And what that looks like is about what that looks like is an estimated number of new transactions generated. Time's up. All right.
Okay. So, okay.
Hold on.
Okay, so judges, we have a judges time Q&A, and we start from Ikwan, Sophie, and Stanley, and Aaron.
Okay, because you couldn't finish your presentation, one thing that I would like to know the most is what do you offer? Probably if you can go back to the slides, what AI can do versus the AI agent versus a regular agent. Because, well, I'm not familiar with the real estate market, but I'm commenting on this from a buyer's perspective. For me, if I want to buy a house, whether should I choose an agent versus an AI-powered agent, there are a few considerations. Cost is only one of them, right? But if I go with a human agent, the human agent interact with me in many directions, and they also not only fill out the forms, right? Go through the procedures, but they will try to understand me. What is my need? They will try to take me to the places and then suggest places that I'm interested in. So I think what you present is your assumption of a big picture, how this is going to increase the demand, how this is going to satisfy the customer, but that's only your assumption. Right? So, and when you show that demand curve, like how demand can increase, I feel a little bit far-fetched. So if you can nail down what can you offer and cost, of that extra benefit that you can offer? If you can explain that a little bit.
Do you have any comment or?
First off, I think, you sound very passionate, you're engaging. I think the slides are a bit too complicated, too wordy. I mean, I'm trying to focus on you. I'm trying to read and understand the slide. So it's hard to really grasp the narrative.
Mhm.
I think, we did a lot of work, put a lot of work into it, which is great. I agree on the concept of, and I think the term agent is also could be better defined because an agent is not just an actual agent, like there's an AI agent
Exactly.
technology
Yes.
versus
yeah.
the agents. I wasn't sure if you're replacing a human or just a regular AI agent. And yeah, so I think, in terms of pitching, I think you gotta be precise. You gotta be, big animal pictures, get the key takeaway and move the investor along. They're trying to grasp, like, what is the opportunity? What are you trying to disrupt? Who's your
Mhm.
competition? So I think if you kind of lightened up the narrative a bit, I think we all understand the complexity of real estate. I think it's just getting into what is the solution and how you're going to disrupt the market.
So my point is you touched on cost reduction. That's perked my ears,
Mhm.
but you didn't follow through with the rest. So that's one thing that I didn't hear a whole lot. Second thing that NAR has got a huge fine because of the 6%. So you didn't touch on the current state because it makes your whole business model completely different. Because now we can freely negotiate, not the 6% anymore. So, but it ties into the value of your AI agent. Does it really has a value at that point? Right. So why am I going to spend a whole lot of money to build this AI agent when now the landscape is very competitive because now you can freely negotiate the percentage rate. So that makes a big difference into why should I invest into your model. Now, AI technology, of course, we all talk about it and we believe is very overused. So you didn't tie that into how you're going to use it very precisely. So you got a lot of technology stacked in there. I just glanced at it, other technologies. So that's where my interest is, but you didn't really spend a whole lot of time to simplify what is the most critical path or critical mass to build your AI agent for my investment. Sure.
Yeah, great presentation overall. I think a lot of what I was going to say was touched on here was especially with the change in the legislation and rules around the NAR and some of those things that have been changed. So, given the chance to dive deeper into that, I think I think what you're trying to say is the real estate market is broken. It needs to be fixed, and there's a tremendous business opportunity, all three of which I would very strongly agree with. So I think there is something here. I'm not a technologist, but I was very interested in that slide of how that would be an added value. Personally, it hit on something for me because I loathe real estate agents. So the fact that I could do this without using a real estate, and I'm a salesperson myself, the fact that I could use it. So I think there's a tremendous business opportunity. So I would focus on more than just the monetary aspect of it and the ease of the customer experience, because I think there is something there. And I don't see anyone out there that's really doing it, like making it super user friendly. Redfin's tried, Zillow, some other technology has tried, but they fall flat on the user experience sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I think really, really solid business idea. I would stick with it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I did that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a culmination of my research and my experience as a realtor for 6 years. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have some more time if you want to add some more comments.
I mean, I guess, what are you hoping to raise or what?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. So,
Oh,
right.
my turn.
But yeah, anyways, phase one, I would hope to raise $3 million in phase one, and that gets from 1 to 3. And, then phase 2 is going to be from just this 4.
Mhm.
So roughly $5 million between phase 1 and phase 2. So 3 million in phase 1 and 2 million in phase 2.
Have you done any user research or any testing or understanding of the messaging and this product to get a sense of what consumers would think about this type of solution?
Like research, like testing,
Your potential customers.
no, I have not done any research. I guess I'm just kind of leaning on my assumptions and my experience as a real estate agent, and as well as feedback of people who loathe real estate agents and want to get away from, being tied to that. I feel like there's a substantial number of those people. And so, no, I haven't done any testing, but just more based on my experience of being in the industry and how people kind of view real estate agents. I think that it would probably go over pretty well with the type of people who are computer literate. It probably won't go over very well with real estate agents. And
But that ties into what Aaron's talking about, the
Yeah.
user experience as a technologist is very critical. I mean, no matter how good you build an AI engine, if it's not user friendly or it doesn't provide that transparency that we're all looking for, because you talked about it as well, then no matter how good your tool is, it's just another tool in the tool chest.
yeah, and that's definitely something that I would hope to bring somebody on the team who has experience with user experience, because that's not necessarily where my strengths are. Like I actually have these are basically like engineering jobs and stuff like that. Like I'm not going to be doing this on my own. I would be hiring people who can help me build these technologies.
Got lots of people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm like breathing here. What is,
Thank you.
I'm in the line of fire for ice.
Reg?
So hi everyone. So I'm Pablo Greco and I'm the CEO of Reg. So I will introduce this company by our slogan. So never miss a call, never miss a customer, never miss an opportunity. So I want to give you this presentation by tell you a quick story that happened to me and my friend. So at the beginning of this semester, we were in San Francisco for holidays and we experienced an issue with our sink. So me and my friend, so Antoine Alexandre, we called John, a plumber, but he was not responding to us. So we call another one, came, resolved the problem, and left. And really, like 5 minutes after, John called us back, but it was too late. So we asked him why he didn't take the call before. He said that it was with a client, unable to take the call. So we asked him why he didn't get an assistant. He said that in San Francisco, it's too expensive for him, $90,000 per year. So unaffordable for his budget. So we know that in small businesses like this, sometimes employ member of family. So we asked him why he didn't take member of his family. He said that he doesn't want to mix professional work and personal life. So we told to him why he didn't opt for Reg. So Reg is an AI assistant that can book appointment at any time. That means you will never miss a call. Also, the AI will automatically synchronize with Google Calendar or other system that you prefer. You can customize the voice, your availability, depending on your schedule. And I think the most important will be the no-code setup. That means you pay in 5 minutes to receive your number, and that's all. Pretty easy. So after that, we asked John, how many clients can he lose per week? So he said that 3 clients, he can lose between 1 or 2 clients. One job for John, the average cost will be $300. So that means if you lose 1 client per week annually, he will lose $60,000 per year. In 4 years, John could cover his his daughter college expenses. So after that, we explained to him our solution. Our solution cost only $1,200 per year. And if he took our solution, he can increase his revenue by 20% per year or so. That's mean by $1 invested, he can get back 12 or $44. So we were working on this company with my friend at the beginning of this semester, and I've seen that we have some competitors on this market. But one thing that they don't have is the real-time emergency mode. That means that, for example, your sink is dripping water on your floor and your apartment is tomorrow. The AI will tell you what you can do before John comes to your house. Also, the customizable voice. As you can see, I have an accent. Maybe it's difficult for you to understand me, but that's okay because the AI agent will understand me. For sure, if I am not fluent in English, he can switch to my mother tongue. And I think where we are the best will be the price. We are the less expensive in this market. So as you can see, we have three revenue models. So the subscription model, the only difference will be the time of AI, the schedules, the Google schedule, the analysis, and the team collaboration. So we look on the market to see if we can reach potential customer, and we have seen that in 2030, the market will be at $14 billion. That means that we are really at the beginning of the expansion of this market. And we also, with research, find that we have 33 million of small businesses in the United States. And most of the half of these businesses are service-based business, like plumber, electrician, carpenter, and so on. That means that we can really reach a lot of clients. So to acquire our customer, we are thinking about strategic partnership. So building relationship with industry player, produce blog post, webinar, leverage our industry contact and local events. And as I'm doing right now, speak to it and at this event to increase our visibility. So I will quickly describe our team. So me, I'm the CEO. So I was leading the strategy and the vision. Antoine is the COO. He's responsible for the website development. And Alexandre is the CTO. So he's managing all the service infrastructure, AI coding, and integration. And so now I will just quickly present you the website, the prototype that we have. So it is the landing page. Here, the voice customization. So at the moment, we are working on two samples of AI voice. So Peter and Nia, one man and one female voice. And the most important part will be the industry section for us and for the client about the reference, about the SEO referencement. So right now we are working on the blog section. So I hope that you have liked this presentation, and Reg, I will be open to any of your questions. Thank you.
First off, great presentation, very well organized. It's easy to follow. You covered all of the components of a pitch, market, the problem, the opportunity. And I've actually seen a few of these solutions, and you did just as well as some more experienced founders that I've been evaluating. So I think my question would be, have you launched, and what has the feedback been? Are you generating revenue? And then what are you looking for?
So not yet. Right now, I made a call yesterday with my team. And so Alexandre, the CTO, is working on the software to encrypt data privacy for us and also for the clients. And so we hope that maybe at the end of this month or for the next month to have our first beta version.
Okay.
Great presentation. Yes, it was very well timed, and you managed the whole transaction really well from slide to slide, which is what I like. There's a couple weak points that I want to identify because you didn't talk about the cost of development. Yeah. So you didn't touch on that, but that's critical as part of your revenue generation. How much, and then is it realistic? That's more important because you're competing with a lot of chatbot out there. Now I can build a chatbot to do partial of what you suggested within the AI environment. So since you are in AI, you should know about that. So is that become your competitor?
Yes, it becomes our competitor, but as we have seen on our benchmark, if I can show you. So the most important competitor will be Smith AI and will be assistant, I think, but they are really expensive. And so us, we are really like, we just buy the AI agent. Also, we buy different AI programs, so OpenAI and Mistral. Mistral is a French AI, are going to grow. So if you want to expand our market to Europe, we are thinking about this idea. And if, for example, ChatGPT is overloaded, we can switch to this AI. And so our cost will be monthly between 150 and 250. So if we can reach 3 clients per month, we will make profit.
And partially, you also touch on AI Act in Europe. We just did a very deep research about AI Act and also the data privacy, CCPA, PCI DSS, all of that ties in the cost. And what I'm pointing out is you didn't show that into your presentation to factor in all those costs, because that is now accountable for like 37% of a software development just to meet those compliance requirements. So that's the point. Yeah.
Great job. Thank you. I loved the story at the beginning. I really think it really painted a picture of why this idea is critical. So well done on that. I would, to echo that, I do think that like showing some of the prices of the competitors and how you might be able to compete in that arena, and that, as well as what types of maybe customers that they have, like customer numbers, if there's any access to those, to that kind of data. I can't really speak to the technology pieces as well as my colleague here so eloquently did, but I would like to know, of that market, how quickly could you grab some of that market share with a competitive pricing model and maybe some of the other tools, the emergency mode, some of the features that are going to differentiate you. I think that could showcase, potential investors like, hey, there's a real opportunity here to grab some clients right off the bat.
Yes.
Yeah, but really, really well done.
Yeah. Many of my feedbacks actually align with their comments. I echo with the great presentation storytelling. I think your presentation is very short and yet very powerful because you make it very relevant to every one of us. You point out the pain point through a story, and then immediately you follow with, here is how we can solve the problem. A very well planned competitor analysis. I do agree with Stanley talk about the competitors in the market, and with these AI generations, people are well educated how to use those free tools to make this happen. But I do see the market potential for this, because for those who work in the field, right, and drive the truck, they probably don't have time to, even if it's free, they would rather pay $150 to have you done that for them. So I think there's a great market potential. I really like your presentation, and I see the value in this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay, thank you so much.
Well done. This is for you guys. One, that's thank you. And for you. Yes. Before I begin, I'll show a small animation video.
Portable travel gear. Whether you are a business professional, a family gearing up for vacation, or a student moving abroad, we understand your travel needs. Many travelers face challenges like the high cost of buying luggage for occasional trips, limited storage space, and concerns about luggage durability. That's where luggage rent comes in. Luggage rent offers a wide range of high-quality luggage options, perfect for every journey and budget. Save money and space with our flexible rental plans. From short trips to extended vacations, choose the exact luggage you need delivered right to your door. Booking is easy with our user-friendly website. Simply select your luggage, choose your dates, and enjoy doorstep delivery and hassle-free returns. At Luggage Rent, we are not just about convenience. We are about quality and sustainability. Experience the difference with Luggage Rent. Visit our website at luggagerent.com and start your stress-free travel journey today. Looking for an easier way to travel with
First off, thank you, judges, for coming here. Thank you for your time. My name is JT Yamsuan. I am founder of Luggage Rent LLC. I'm a senior in SFSU. I'm a double major in finance and decision science, and I'm also a finance officer for PCTS, which is the new student body on SFSU. Luggage Rent, this is the new logo now. It's not officially registered yet, but I have the TM there just to claim it. So this is what's in this presentation, but I underline all the important ones that I'm just gonna go over. Problem. I'm pretty sure all of us either bought a luggage or at least own a luggage. And these are usually the problems. Storage, if luggage is a waste when you dispose it, it's a waste, it's an environmental problem. Contamination, especially when we have the COVID. Contamination, when you bring that luggage, when you came from different parts of the world, you bring contamination. I actually had one experience. I own a condo in Sacramento and I rent it out. And I had one client or one renter that brought in pests in my unit, and it came from a luggage. And I'm dealing with it still now. It cost me thousands of dollars. So this is from Statista. As you can see, I underline, it's one of the biggest or concern when it comes to luggage. It's the cost. It's expensive. If you go to Target and get a carry-on luggage, it's gonna cost you $100 or maybe more. So our solution is to bring the cost down. We're gonna do it $1 per day for $2. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Our business model will be a rental base and a membership like Amazon Prime to bring the cost down, or like deliveries and all that stuff. And then it's gonna base to like Hertz car rental, where you can book it if you need 3 days, a whole week, a whole month, or if you want to buy it, we'll have an option too. And additional revenues, you can either contract, we're going to contract with different companies like airline, hotels. I actually spoke to a hotel where I came from last night. And they said, yeah, they'll do it. Market opportunity. It's a growing demand for, I would say it's a growing demand because you can target businesses, business travelers, families, students, especially here, we have students that's coming from abroad or going abroad. And the occasional traveler. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And here's the data. I don't know if you all know, so luggage industry actually brings in 23 billion US dollars. That's projected to 2025. Last year, it brought in $21 billion around the world. Competitive advantage. Our company is going to be competitive because we're bringing the cost down. Instead of paying $100 for a carry-on, we're going to do it $1. And it's also, I'll speed it up. I don't have time. It is sustainable because you can repeat it. Unlike the regular luggage where you buy it, you can only use it. If it breaks, you dispose it. With us, you can rent it, you return it. If it's broken, we'll fix it and we'll put it back. This is the market strategy. Just like online businesses, you can optimize the social media, partner up with different companies and then referrals, which is word of mouth. Financial projections. I'll jump into the numbers right away. Which one do you think will be a best option? So I have two options. It's either charge membership monthly or one time. Which do you think? Charging membership like Prime, like Amazon Prime one time, or monthly? Which one do you think is going to be better?
Oh, time's up.
Cliffhanger question.
Time's up. If you can ask the question, what was the answer?
I'm gonna go start. The first thing is I recommend all the people, unless it's in your own office, never use video as part of your presentation. Because the technicality, you just don't know whether it works or doesn't. You wasted 2 minutes just to try to get that working. So you could have done a lot of the presentation within that 2 minutes that emphasize the point and connecting to the audience. And that's very important rather than you use a video, unless it's in your own office, you just with a click of a button, never use video as part of the presentation. Number one, I travel a lot. The only point I pick out is really convenient. I would be your customer is when I travel overseas that I often I don't have a luggage, the luggage is broke, then I would rent from the hotel. Otherwise, I wouldn't even consider renting a luggage because I'm not your target. So my question is, you never emphasize whether it's a B2B model or B2C model. So this makes a big difference into your complete pitch into the presentation. So we've seen those power bank being in China that deploy in the restaurants because it's for the convenience. Otherwise, people can buy those power bank, they're cheap, right? So why should I go and rent it versus when I buy it when the cost is not that much of a difference? That's another second point. I'm not sure where you're going with it. You're saying that $100 per luggage when we buy, which is a lot more from time to time. But the problem with that is you didn't demonstrate the cost, how you're operating. You know what? By the time you consider the logistic, the cleaning, the liability, if your luggage breaks, how much you have to pay back for the consumer, there was a lot of cost that goes into it. So you have not identified any of that. For me, consider from an investment model. So those are the three key points.
So
wait, the other judges, right?
Do you want to let him respond now? Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Three questions, right?
Well, these are three observations.
So with the first question, we're still trying to figure it out. I'll jump into the second one, which is what was that again? Sorry.
So first, don't use video. Second is B2B or B2C.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still trying to figure that one out.
So
Actually,
yeah, as a presentation, you need to make a decision and present it in one direction.
Okay.
Right. So because it makes a whole lot of difference in how we're listening to it. The third is the logistic cost.
logistic cost, actually was included to this. This is the first month. If you have 2087, so the way we do it is instead of buying or making,
We don't need to go into the detail because that is part of your 5 minute or whatever the time, the presentation. And that was going back into my point one. You lost that opportunity because when you pitch to investors now, you only got 5 minutes and you're out. That's it. So that's the realistic world. So you're gonna find if you're going to be tingling around with all the technology and presentations and all of that, a lot of time that you wasted rather than emphasize on these key points. That's my statement. Yeah.
thank you.
Right.
Great job. Is that all you get is 5 minutes in an investor
Yeah.
presentation now?
That's
okay. I think, first of all, I think everybody should be applauded for showing up as like a problem and how I'm going to, solve it in 7 minutes in a university setting. So great job. Two, I really love the idea. Actually, this one really resonated with me. I liked the video, but I understand that, maybe you could have maybe given that speech just as well as the video did. Mine were just little, like the contamination piece really intrigued me, but I wouldn't present a problem if you don't present a solution. Like what's going to differentiate you and like not bringing pests or bugs or something into the country if that's what's happened. So that might be like a secondary, maybe a secondary piece, but I really think there were some good differentiation points. And I mean, there's a lot of businesses that this is a convenient thing for an infrequent or new traveler. And I think you did a great job of kind of identifying that early on. So, I mean, I think maybe your target audience has been defined. You just didn't articulate it maybe as well as you could have. But I think there's definitely, a market for this. So well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I am not your target customer, but I heard you saying that cost and convenience is one of the top luggage issues that customer complain.
Mhm.
So I try to think about the market potential for your proposal. So I keep thinking about the $1 per day. How would it work? So if I travel for 4 days, then you only got $4 from me. I just don't know, is it reasonable and feasible? So you need to maybe very quickly and simply do a calculation to make sense of it. Because that's your biggest selling point in this entire proposal, right? On the other hand, have you thought about who do you want to target? Because I try to see your proposal must have a home, right? Because so are you targeting a frequent traveler or occasional traveler, right? So for those frequent travelers, they have their favorite luggage. They know how to pack. They know on which trip, which size of the luggage works the best for them. For occasional traveler, maybe you have a chance, right? So maybe you can do a quick interview or survey to find out, is this idea is in their favor? Sometimes we have this big idea, we feel like, wow, this is so creative, but without testing it, you don't know. You don't know. Really try to test it.
Yeah, so I use Rent the Runway, which is a clothing thing, right? And so they have handbags. And so I think when I think about the market, and again, I agree with everyone, so I'm not going to belabor that. But I think if you can maybe transition it, because you want something new. So you want to seek the person who wants a designer or a different type of luggage to match their outfit or their trip. So it's not about cost, it's about really that luxury. Like we rent designer handbags, right? To show off that we have designer handbags, but like maybe it's designer luggage or my girls, I can't even buy them a luggage. They're like, oh, that one's too ugly. Like we're like trying to find them a luggage. But if you want variety, so I think there's something there because if you look at the existing rental businesses out there, like Rent the Runway and a whole bunch of them, there might be some inspiration around that versus I'm less about the utility. I have my own luggage. I care less, but it'd be cool to be switching out luggages and having a little fun with it. So
I want to add to that because this totally changed the game.
I
agree.
Give you a business opportunity.
Yeah.
So I actually also wrote down that maybe you want to introduce some unique feature of the luggage that I cannot buy it from the store. So think about when you travel, what do you need? Maybe a power bank and maybe, I don't know, the all-in-one luggage, which is so fancy that I don't want to buy. But if I'm traveling for my wedding, I don't want to carry my luggage. I want something fancy,
Yeah.
something
Ski
all in
trip,
one.
Golf. trip,
Yeah.
Summer trip versus. a
Think about
winter
those
trip.
special occasions and customize your luggage
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
high end. So your $1 won't work. You will charge couple $100 for a different market segment.
I didn't even think about the fashion piece on it.
Yeah, I never thought
But
of
I
it.
was thinking of the convenience, like when Zipcar, I mean, I lived in San Francisco when Zipcar first came out, and it was like this novelty where you could rent a car and like you didn't have to have a car. And
Yeah.
the storage piece that you touched on, I think, is something there too, because people don't
Yes.
like,
Right.
where do you have to keep your luggage somewhere, and it's big and bulky, and you're living in the city and you have a 1-bedroom apartment or studio, like where are you gonna put it? So you might have different verticals that you could really hammer home, like in a presentation, and probably do it in 5 minutes, right? Like
And
this,
on top of that, like you address the $1, the Harry Schaefer
yeah.
$1 versus Gillette. That was the David versus Goliath
Yeah.
type of case study. You could do that, but you just need to craft that message very
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, great idea though.
So
Yeah.
that is a great analogy of what you do. It's $1 per day luggage.
Mhm.
But in your presentation, it just didn't reflect all those good points that we discussed.
Interesting. These are so exciting.
Well done.
Hi, everyone. My name is Noah Segura. I'm a freelance photographer here in the Bay Area, and I'm majoring in finance and minoring in innovation and entrepreneurship here at SF State. To kind of give you a problem of what I've seen and experienced as a photographer is that there's limited platforms to find good places to take good pictures at. There's also limited platforms to learn, practice, and grow your photography skills. It's also quite hard to network and build a community in this industry, and as well as streamlining and managing and booking clients in this industry can be difficult. So right now, photographers use so many different platforms, different apps to kind of mitigate this, but that creates these inefficiencies and these gaps in their workflow as well as their customer experiences that when they go and take pictures of people. So as I was saying, the market is very fragmented. When I was going out and asking photographers what they were using, Google Maps came out a lot. I had this person say he would literally go into Street View and go around his city and try to find a spot like that. That could be a little time inefficient. For YouTube was another big one where this is where they were getting all their content to learn and grow their photography skills. The thing about that is it's a little random and inconsistent. So why not one platform that does it all, which is Pictor. Pictor is location discovery and skill growth for photographers and videographers where they can learn, snap, and share through Pictor. So Pictor integrates all these key functions of photography into one seamless platform, from the discovery page to the learning hub to the community page to booking and finding photographers. So how it works is once a user signs up, they'll be able to navigate the platform freely. And upon navigating over to the Discover page, they'll be able to find all the locations in their area that are good for taking pictures. When they find a location that they like, there'll be a lot of useful information from what time golden hour would be, the gear, if it's free, if it's public, what type of just useful information a photographer could use in that area. For the learning page, this is kind of where they'll go to learn more about photography and grow their photography skills. If someone isn't a good editor, they can go onto the app and learn more about editing through videos and articles and potentially grow their photography skills. For the community page, this is kind of like your social media aspect of the app where you can showcase your work, receive likes, get followers, kind of network and communicate with people inside the industry. For the booking and managing client side, so for the book a photographer page, this is where you'll see all the photographers in your area. And once you find one that meets your needs, you'll be able to see their availability and their pricing options. The part for photographers where they could actually see and manage their clients will be added in the near future. Once I build it, I'm not going to go into that because I want to go into the business revenue model. So users will pay a monthly subscription of $5 a year or $5 a month or $60 a year. And a low commission will be implemented for bookings made through Pictor. So if an established photographer already has clients, it's going to be really easy to integrate them into Pictor. And then hopefully in the future, targeted ad revenue and strategic partnerships can potentially increase the revenue. So the photography industry is a $105 billion industry, but I'm focused on the photographers themselves. Globally, there's around 3 million photographers, from hobbyists to beginners to working professionals. Our serviceable attainable market would be around 500,000 of those semi-professionals to beginners. And then our obtainable market would be here in the United States. Starting here in the United States would give us this sort of area. So there's a lot of competition. The market is very saturated. But a lot of them are focused on either showing a great portfolio or managing clients. None of them are kind of integrating all of these aspects of photography into one platform that would really help photographers kind of manage their business. Yeah, that kind of gives us a competitive advantage because it would be really hard for one of these companies that are, say, client managing for photographers. It'd be really hard for them to pivot and integrate all of these functions into one seamless platform on Pictor. Some of the strengths would be it's very user-friendly. A weakness is that it's kind of reliant on users, and opportunities could be partnerships with brands, AI potential, and expanding into international markets. Some threats could be the market saturation and the legal and compliant issues. As of now, I've only done testimonials, and I only done primary and secondary research, but I'm building the photo or the prototype. And once that is fully built out, I want to test and implement the feedback that I get. I still need more photographers. I'm constantly talking to photographers every day. I need people who could actually help me build this app, so developers. And then I'm working on securing the name. And thank you very much.
Yeah, great job. I put down market size, then you got to it really late in the presentation. So I think you could have maybe reworked some of those slides in terms of just order. And then I'm wondering, was that market size that you talked about, was that international, global? Because you touched on like an international component in the opportunities section as well. So was that a global market that you were?
So the first two, the total addressable market would be globally, and then attainable would be globally, but the obtainable one that we're able to service would be here in the US.
Okay. So that would be your initial launch and then go global. Okay. So I think just maybe a little bit of clarity around that. I love the usability, and then maybe just a little bit more clarification around the competitive list, because at the beginning you were like, this is a kind of a non-existent tool out there, but then at the end you were like, it's a saturated market. So I was interested in what your app would do to differentiate itself from some of those competitors that you defined. And are those pie in the sky? This is just, hypothetical, but are those pie in the sky competitors or real competitors? Like, you trying to steal their user base? Is this an untapped market altogether? But other than that, really clearly put together with a little bit of order, I think it was solid. Yeah.
I love your presentation. I also like the idea very much. You're so clear about what problem you try to solve. And also in your presentation, I feel your confidence. And you are so clear and organized because of your personality, the way you present yourself. that give me confidence and I would like to invest in you. So beyond that, let's take a look at your proposal because you're so clear about your target customers and you have a clear vision of your market segment. You talk about your business model for $50, $5 per month versus $60 per year. So you have all these figures. It would be nice that you have moved one step forward, calculate the cost, and convince us that this is doable by paying $5 per month. You can not only break even, but also make profits, right? So just one step further, because I just think you do have that data. Secondly, you did a great SWOT analysis. You talk about 2 weaknesses and 1 threat. The market is very competitive. And I want you to address that a little bit. How are you going to overcome that? Yeah, that's pretty much about that. And also, one more is about the competitors. You talk about the Instagram, the Google Map, but those are the separate apps that people use independently. Are there similar platforms like yours available in the market? Who are they? Because you mentioned about competitive markets. So they give me a worry, concern about maybe there's something similar out there. And who are they? And what are your twists?
So there are some competitors like this, but none of them are integrating everything together. So there might be an app for managing your clients. There might be an app for finding new locations. There might be an app for networking and community building. But those are all separate apps, and it creates this inefficiency in the workflow for a photographer rather than just having it all in one place.
So in this case, because you enter an industry that has a very low entry barrier. So you say that you're the one who has everything, all the function, but the competitor can copy that very quickly tomorrow, right? So I think your best strategy will be penetrate the market as fast as you could and have that network effect, network externality to build that customer base. And if you have perceived that, then you should have that in your presentation about your strategy. How are you going to build a customer base within what time?
Very well organized. I think it's interesting that, when you're doing something around photography and the inspiration and creativity behind it, your deck is black and white. So I thought it was just very opposite of like, I'm not going to put any color in this thing and make it black and white, which is an interesting perspective. I agree with the comments. I think, what I liked was that at the end you showed that you were testing and figuring it out, because guess what? Your idea is, everyone thinks our idea is amazing. And then, like it's your own idea until you figure out what the market wants and what they're interested in. That's when you start then learning and then prioritizing what to build first. And you only have a certain amount of time and resources. And so you have to build the right thing first. Otherwise you have no room or credibility to build the rest of the platform, right? So I like that about your process of thinking about how you're attempting to discover and figure out what the app should be. I do think, I was not sure whether it was, the photography business itself or a way for the photographer to be differentiating from other photographers, right? Because it is a business after all, right? I get the community aspect, but is this going to help me get more clients? Is this going to have improved my photography differentiation and skills because I can find the best places that are unique to my business? So I was very unclear. I was like, what is the unique value prop that you're going to offer that the photographer really cares about the most, right? Or is it just more of the productivity play versus, oh, I can differentiate myself because I have access to tools that can separate me and differentiate me from all the competition that I have.
I agree 100%, but you did a great presentation. I really like it because you touch on the TAM SAM, which is very important from an investment point of view. You also touch on the MVP, but I agree with Professor Lee. It's like, you got to go a little step further to show me the cost, right? To how do you beat out all the competitors? Because one part of it, yes, you want to highlight the competitor, but at the same time, you need to show your solution, how it's better than the other competitors, however you want to tackle that. Tie that into the unique opportunity. So you had touched on it, you had touched on the booking part, But I wasn't very clear that, okay, when that point comes, am I a consumer just as, try to book a professional to guide me with that aspect of, where to take the picture, how to take a better picture? I wasn't very clear, but you were going to go into, because I would buy from you, right? Because I do want to learn more about photography, but I wasn't very clear what was that solution about. You touched on it about booking, but you didn't clarify it, because that also separate your model. And to talk about the different market segment, you highlighted, but you didn't go deeper into it. Is this app for just enthusiasts or professional that can get money, make money from it? Because that can be your competitive differentiator to beat out your competitor. And that is a strong point that you can highlight a little bit more to demonstrate how unique your investment could be. Great job, by the way. Yeah, love your presentation.
Everyone, my name is Elizabeth. So our education system is under immense pressure. There are 70 million students, but only 5 million teachers. And a lot of their time is actually spent grading, with only 24% of teacher time spent on direct teaching. Now, our education today is built as a rigid assembly line where teachers are forced to instruct as a one-size-fits-all. And that leaves behind a lot of students who could excel while also neglecting those who might need more help. On top of that, we are currently seeing the use of ChatGPT for assignments, and that creates a black box because it's online with the core syllabus, and is also undermining their critical thinking skills. And when it comes to teacher assessment, most of the time, instructors cannot grade everything at once. And a lot of the times, students receive their feedback very late towards the end of the semester or after an assignment deadline has already passed, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of receiving feedback. It also means that teachers are not really able to adjust on present time. So the ideal system would be to be adaptive, dynamic, and continuously refine. And this is where Superclass comes in. So Superclass is building an AI native personalized educational platform. So for teachers, it allows them to grade assignments 100 times faster. It also can synthesize assessments, provide feedback on these assessments, and that's beneficial for the students because they're able to get targeted feedback and potentially targeted instruction. We've built an MVP that takes less than a minute to grade a test. So how it works is a teacher can upload their assignment outline. It could be handwritten, digital, or a code file. Then our AI model will process it, transcribe it, build out a rubric, and assess it. Then the teacher can upload the submissions from the students. The AI model will identify the student name, transcribe the responses for each question, and grade each question according to the rubric. Then the teacher can review the results and will still be able to modify anything that needs to be needed, because teachers still like to have a handle over the rubrics and they'll have their personal teaching style. So we want to give them the ability to still fulfill that need. Our MVP can save an introductory class $24K a semester. So typically a 600 student class would mean 600 midterms to grade. If each one takes 10 minutes, that means that the professor would have spent so much time on that. And if you take into consideration their wages as well, you'll find that with us, you'll be able to grade those same 600 exams in 1 minute. Therefore reducing the time that you spend on grading, making it cheaper, and most importantly, more accurate and consistent. So we plan to enter with a freemium pricing model with 100 free entries. And then we will also offer a premium model with $20 a month. The education market is valued at $1.4 trillion. The edtech market is at 80 billion and has a CAGR of 11.3%. And the price of grading is actually $38 billion. So I want to address why we're different from all the other tools that are out there. So a lot of the other tools also require manual setup, which defeats the purpose of how easy it is. Another thing is that they do not close the loop when it comes to the personalized instruction, which we think is very important. If we compare ourselves to GradeScope, they also do not automate grading for short answer or for responses. And they don't provide granular insights on the concept level of understanding. Now, where we're at. We're actually piloting already at USC. We've had contact with 25 plus professors across USC, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and other local city colleges, and hopefully here too. Our MVP product is complete. The backend is LLM based with automated transcription, with grading pipeline. The front end is monitoring and control interface for teachers. So our next steps are back testing and hardening our LLM pipeline with historical exams. And we also want to engage with teachers for more data. So I'd like you guys to meet our team. So what's different about us is our founder, or one of our founders, is actually also has a decade of experience in engineering, scaling engineering teams, but he also has a background in teaching. He's taught computer science for middle school students, General Assembly, and at USC. Our product person has been head of product and has experience in building product from 0 to 1. And I'll be in charge of business development and go-to-market strategy. Currently working on getting our foot here in the Bay. And our vision is essentially to make education scalable, personalized, and just overall give everybody, regardless of their background, the opportunity to have access to high quality education. Thank you.
Well done.
I love this idea. At first, yeah, because grading does, especially for, like for me, I assign student like homework assignment, usually 1 or 2 per week. So those are tiny, small homeworks for student engagement. So it does takes a lot of time to grade them. So I think I see the value in your proposal that highlighted personalized. That makes a difference, right? I wish I can see a small demo. Maybe you can show them here are the regular AI grading, but here is your grading, which has that personalized touch. When I listen to your presentation, I see, wow, this is great. But as you go to the further toward the middle of the presentation, I feel like, well, yeah, you can present like it's a great deal, but I don't know until I use it, right? It sounds like it's great, but there's no demo. I don't really know how it works. I think that's my concern. But you change my perception and my concern as soon as you reach the slide when you talk about your team. And you talk about you have pilot tested with a couple of university have participated in this pilot testing. So then that changed my belief in your product. But then you stop there. I would like to see the data, right? If you pilot tested, that would be so important. You show at least one slide about, okay, here are the data. Here are the, and be honest that here are the pros, here are all advantages. See, this is how we personalize it. But there are some drawback that we do see that, and then this is how we improve that. So that's the part that I'm missing. So I feel like when I listen to your presentation, at first I feel like, wow, this is great. But then it's kind of, oh, okay, I don't see your promise. Show me what you can do. But then you say, oh, here's our team. We have pilot tested. Then I say, okay, show me, but there's nothing there. You see?
I'll just like to address that. Yeah, so I actually did prepare a demo, but because of time constraints, I unfortunately couldn't get to it because it does require, like I said, at least a minute so that I can show you how it grades it. But I would invite you to follow up with me and set up a private meeting, and I can definitely.
There's a whole.
Yes, save that 1 minute video is very important. As Danny said, that you never know if there's a technical issues. And with 1.5 minutes, maybe you can present a lot more detail in that. But at least one slide of the table summarize of the data and insights that you have from the pilot testing. Otherwise, the entire presentation, you can say that, yeah, it's to me, you present me a beautiful package, but I don't know what's inside. I don't see the proof of that.
I think from the sales perspective, you missed the opportunity to sell it.
Yes.
So you need to have that slide as a hook.
Yes.
If you want to learn more, come to talk to me afterwards. So you missed that opportunity. Did I get it right?
Mhm.
Yes. So that's the sales hook
Me,
into
the
it.
solid
Yes.
thing to convince me.
That's right.
Instead of your promise up in the air.
I think I'm gonna get the same feedback as I did to, is it Angela? Your slides are lots of words, too many words. I can't ingest and pay attention to you at the same time. I think it started out like very visionary. I wasn't sure what the problem was because you presented a lot of problems, like crowds, like too big. The schools are too big, too many students, and ChatGPT is brain rotting our kids. I couldn't figure out what the solution was going to address. And so it was a little confused. So I didn't get to the point. And then the vision of around the AI and the whole education, then it ended up being a grading system. So I think that, getting to that point faster would have been super helpful. And again, you have to think that not everyone will have an education background. So I don't need to know every interest in detail about the education. I'm going to understand what the problem is and what the investment opportunity is and how you're going to solve it. So yeah, I would just kind of simplify more and then tell a story, give an example, like, teachers are up all night, or, they're not getting through to their students because they have to, like, for example, I use Scantrons. I'm like, so what's the grading problem? Why do we need, you still use Scantrons, right? Like that just goes through a machine. So it's grading like actual written paperwork and like essays. Like it wasn't clear.
Oh, I did mention that you could submit handwritten or digital files or code files.
I know, but I think teachers to basically overcome the manual grading, they issue Scantron. And we learn through multiple choice. Whereas I think there's an opportunity now, if you have a more automated, like qualitative grading system, you can have tests that are not just a multiple choice, right? I never learned from multiple choice, by the way. Like I think there's, like this is an opportunity to have richer exams and richer education, because now you have machines that are helping to automate that, for example. So, but yeah, I think overall, I think the concepts there, I think I would just communicate it quicker, more succinctly, and again, know your audience.
You're tackling a very sensitive subject.
Oh, okay.
You involve with the ethical,
Yeah.
governance, explainability on the AI aspect, from the technical aspect of it, which is talk about every day. And I talk to our CS professors, very concerning about all those three subjects. And you did not address one of the most important components in AI, human in the loop. how does that fit in from the professor's perspective to make sure it's accurate when the AI is grading the work, right? So data veracity, making sure the accuracy, garbage in, garbage out, we know that, but you didn't address that. Very concerning from a investment perspective, right? Yes, I like your idea about, how to make it more productive, more efficient. That's great, but there is a lot of work in between to your deliverables. And I think that tied into Yuquan's class. You didn't really show it, you didn't present it. And last comment, I would love to hear our dean. What does he have to say about this? Right? From an administrator point of view, it's like, yeah, it's great that you're using innovation and entrepreneurship to go through this to increase the productivity of the professors. But what is the challenge coming from administrative perspective? Have you talked to our dean or any dean to overcome that? Because that is the other side of it, is going through, we understand, bureaucracies, right? There's a lot of red tape going through this. That's part of the realistic and practical side. A lot of the technology could not be applicable to some of the industry. It's because of that. So love to hear his comment about this.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. Obviously, you struck a chord with all the academics in the room, but just from a pure product viability standpoint, I just didn't know what the product was. So I think from the very beginning, I didn't know what you were talking about, and I felt a little like ignorant because of that. Just personally, I was like, what? I'm not sure what's the product here. So I think just a better. Did you, along with the founders, create this presentation, or just you?
I've been kind of in the background.
Okay.
Mostly like research, and
Yeah.
now that we've finally like finished our pilot and like we're looking on our wait list and stuff, we're trying to just reach out because right now it's only computer science.
Yeah.
So we do want to venture out into other topics.
Clearly, you're the business development person, I can tell. So I would integrate some of your heart and soul into a pitch, obviously, because you got to get this, you got to get the sizzle. Like what's in this for me? I can't touch on any of the other, ethical or educational elements, but just from a purely, what's the business case here? I think just to answer that question, what is this and what's it going to solve? I love the vision slide. So I think maybe it's leading with, here's what our vision is and how we see kind of maybe it's the bright future, and here's what our product can do to solve that. That would be my feedback. But good job.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have judge time. So judges, please go inside the room, separate room over there. It's deliberate and then come out later to
I'll just leave it.
first place, second place, and third place. Decide. And while they are deliberating.
Right.
Okay, please. Okay, so I wanna do a quick promotion of this innovation pitch competition. So today we are having Lam Family College of Business pitch competition, but we have a bigger competition coming in April. So this is for all SFSU students. So you are included. So you can apply this SFSU pitch competition as well. And all concepts and industries and individuals or teams. So basically you can just apply. Okay, but so you already heard some feedback from the judges today. So you can revise your ideas and have it a better pitch. And the prize money is much bigger. It's like a 10 times. So the first place is $5,000, second place $3,000, and the third place $2,000. So it's a big money. So you better do a big improvement on your slide. So even though you don't get anything from today, you still have a chance. And you already got a lot of valuable feedback today, so you have a higher chance than the other college students. So it's a great opportunity. And you have to apply by April 1st. So don't forget that day and then apply by then. And the pitch day is April 11, 3 to 5 p.m. via Zoom. So it's not in person. We have different set of judges too. Okay, and then this is a QR code and you know the website?
I have a question. So if you get the first place, are you automatically posting that?
Yes,
Okay.
first place. First place winner of today's event will present as a finalist at the SFSU pitch competition. So the first place winner will present, and then we are going to like just pick 4 of them from the other slide decks. So it's a huge advantage if you're the first winner. Any other question? Any other question? No questions?
What about the second place?
Second place, you get the money. Yeah, $300. How many Starbucks? Usually we receive about like 30 to 40 ideas. Yeah, this one is less competitive. I'll just say that. Yeah, it's less than, it's about like 15 ideas. It's about 15 ideas. But for the SFSU one, it's like 30 to 40. And then we promoted more this year, so maybe more.
Because that's more.
Got it.
There's no-
Yeah, so like, it's like design department and then like, computer science, like everywhere. We have a CS competition too, the computer science pitch competition. So they also apply. But they don't have an advantage as a first place winner. It's only LFCoB College Business has the winner.
My partner is also in biotech, so, and I interned at the genetic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, I know that you're. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't even know.
So there's,
I'll have to.
That's great. Yeah, so this way they.
Yeah. It was.
Right.
Are we adding extra?
Yeah, the what?
Are we adding extra serum?
No,
These are not tenderable for cash. There will be a ton of paperwork to fill out, ones that do result in cash, so, yeah.
By the way, Sibyl is running our innovation and entrepreneurship initiative, so yeah, she's like running CSU pitch competition.
No, that one got canceled.
These all like. Okay, everyone. We're gonna begin our presentation. I mean, everyone did a great job.
Yeah.
Presentation, and actually the quality of presentation is really, really good today. So you're really well prepared, and congratulations for successfully delivering your ideas today. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna announce our winners. So third place first. Super class. Okay, so congratulations. Please take a photo. Okay, by yourself, maybe. Congratulations. Do you have any, like comment, anything?
You want to thank the Academy?
Ready to ask for maybe a follow-up interview if you were interested in our product. I would love to show it to you guys and demo it appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to go through the first title slides with the logo for picture texting?
This one?
Pitch contest, right?
Okay, great. Okay, our second place winner.
Drum roll.
You have any comments?
Oh, sorry.
Are you going to Disneyland?
Advertising our company, and I would really love have your advice for our future. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm so nervous.
Thank you. And then,
I just want to say thank you, judges. Your feedback was very good, and I appreciated it. I'm sure everyone else did. I also want to congratulate everyone else who came here to present their ideas. Just keep going with your ideas and try to persevere through this. And thank you very much.
Well done.
everyone.
So,
Okay.
if you want to talk about it,
You're gonna talk in front of the camera
Yeah.
for everyone else? Oh, great. I'm a startup junkie. So I just joined a startup called Dovetail, and it's all about collecting user research and feedback to help you build better products. And the reason why I harp on that for especially entrepreneurs and founders like myself, you think you know what you know, but you don't. So it's really important to talk to your users, talk to the people that are potential customers, and really draw out from them. Because guess what? You don't have product market fit until someone pays for it. Everyone might say, "Hey, it's great," and then when it comes to paying, it's not worth their while. So we're actually hosting an Inside Out conference where you get to meet other researchers, product developers, designers, founders in San Francisco. And I want to offer a discount to the students of San Francisco to attend day 2. We have amazing food and drinks. So please join us and network. I would gladly see you there and introduce you to people if you want to meet, customers. We have brands like, Snowflake, Databricks, Airbnb. So good place to network and build out your network.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much, especially our judges. So you came all the way to give feedback to our students' ideas. I really appreciate that. And all the presenters today, you did all great job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really, really proud of you. So you can apply again to the SFSU pitch competition, and I wish you for the best. And then thank you, Dee, and then all the other people participated today and attended today. So thank you so much.
Hold on.